Hi to our podcast. In this podcast, we are going to talk about stars and how are they formed, what are stars, and the sizes we can find in the space. Our team is Angel Abrego, Ulises Ruiz, Emiliano Campos, and Ivan Sanchez. What are stars? According to the official National Geographic website, stars are engines of energy that emit radiation, light, and heat formed with helium and hydrogen. Now, my teammate Abrego is going to tell us about why are they formed.
Why are they formed? Stars are not immutable objects. They are born, age, and die. Although this process happens so slowly that they are not noticeable on human time scales. The birth of a star, for example, lasts several 100,000 years and begins when a region of the interstellar medium becomes dense and massive, enough for the force of gravity to break the balance in which it was found. When this happens, the material begins a contraction process that only ends when a star is created, inside which the force of gravity is balanced by the production of energy through nuclear reactions. As a cloud low size, it fragments into small groups. There are huge cold clouds made up of gas and dust known as nebulae. These clouds begin to shrink under their own gravity. As a cloud low size, it fragments into smaller groups. The largest star of the known ones is Ulises. It's a red supergiant that has a volume 5 billion times greater than that of the Sun.
Okay, knowing how stars are formed, now we will talk about sizes. The first one we will say will be supergiant stars, which my college campus will explain to you.
Giants. The stars are very diverse. Their brightness and colors can differ enormously. They are hot and cold, small and large. The smallest ones have a size of a few kilometers, like a medium-sized city. The most massive stars can exceed 200 times the mass of the Sun, and the diameters of the largest can be more than 1,000 times higher than the solar. These larger massive are huge gas balls. They are as bright as millions of suns and can have different colors. The main types are called hypergiants and supergiants, and they can be more or less evolved blue or red. Very massive stars are not very abundant and their lives are very short, due to the high temperatures and densities of the interior regions. They deplete their nuclear field quickly, in just a few million years. Let's remember that the life of a star like the Sun is 1,000 times longer, about 10 billion years.
With the information that my apartment gave us, we already know that it is a supergiant star, but which one will be the biggest? That answer will be answered by my apartment campus.
Ulises is the largest star that humans have seen. Its diameter is 1,700 times larger than the Sun. That is, if we place it instead of the Sun in the center of the solar system, it would cover the orbit of Saturn. In its enormous volume, there would be 5 billion soles. This colossal star is located near the center of the Milky Way, about 9,500 light years, away in the constellation of Shield of Sobiesky. Shortly after its discovery, which took place in 1860, from the Bonn Observatory, it was found that its brightness increased and decreased with a period of 740 days. It is therefore a semi-regular red supergiant star that will end its life in a violent supernova explosion.
Okay, we know that the biggest star is Ulises, but who is the most massive star? Despite being so large, Ulises is not the most massive star, since its mass is about 30 times of the mass of the Sun. The most massive of all known stars is called R136A1, has a mass of 215 solar masses, and is located in the Tarantula Nebula in the Great Magellan Cloud. However, its diameter is only 30 times greater than that of our Sun, and therefore 57 times smaller than U of U Scuti. Contrary to the latter, R13681 is not a red supergiant, but belongs to the class of star called Dwarf Regent, much hotter, so they have blushing glow and emitted ultraviolet radiation. The Dwarf Regent represents a more advanced evolutionary phase than that of the red supergiants. They are therefore much closer to suffering an explosion as a supernova than the red one. In addition, to begin the most massive, R13681 has the honor of being the most brightest star of the know.
Well, now I'm going to talk about the diffuse edge stars. These stars are so large and so massive, but these stars do not have a well-defined surface like Earth. They are giant gas balls with atmospheres that are accelerating due to the effect of the powerful winds that blow into space from the outer layers. Therefore, the diameter of such stars is defined by placing a point of precise physical characteristics in the gas. The diffuse limits of the great stars make size comparison more difficult. In addition to this, as they vary in brightness, these stars contract and expand. Today, about 30 stars are known that have similar sizes to UY Scuti, and that may be able to overcome it. Despite being massive, the largest stars are those that do not live long.
Well, since we are talking about the stars, it is obvious that there is a famous topic that we have not touched on, which is the constellations. Now, Abrego will tell you about them.
Constellations are a grouping of stars that form recognizable shapes in the night sky. However, the constellations themselves are not alive, as they are simply imaginary patterns created by humanity to help orient ourselves in the sky. The individual stars that make up the constellations have different ages and life expectancies, which can range from a few million years to 1,000 million of years. Some stars can live only a few million years before exhausting their fuel and collapsing, while others can live much longer. In short, constellations do not have a life of their own, but the stars that make them up have different life expectancies.
We conclude that stars are a very beautiful phenomenon found in space. However, not all of them have the same shape, size, or colors. We believe that humans have not yet discovered most of stars, or if the largest is actually UY Scuti. This is something that will take many centuries to know exactly, or if it will ever be really known.